I've been wanting to find new unfiction to follow, and frankly, it's been hard. More often than not, I find that what is often labeled as an ARG is just a web series, where interaction is minimal and we are just along for the ride. The expectation being that I'll just sit there and consume rather than be a part of the story, no matter how great or small my role. Huh, what's this? My name is Orra, and this is Trailblazin, the Creature Collection. The trail starts with a YouTube channel going by the name Creature Collection. Though there are potentially other ways to start, this is where we'll be starting from. As of the writing of the script, there are 16 videos for us to look at. I'm not going to go through them all and encourage you to look at them yourself. The channel is a collection of videos, some from the same person, some from other sources and people. The first few videos are recordings of presumably a scientist from some organization noting what the day was like. Employees giving their 2 weeks notice, virtualizing creatures in their experiments, and collaborating with someone to make a new game. And ultimately this game is made, and those creatures are added in, hidden, with the intention of doing something. The next videos we get are recordings of gameplay, most likely the game that was talked about in the previous recordings. As well as the video, we also get subtitles of the channel owner's experience with the game. There are 2 parts to it, Creature Chat and the Collection. Creature Chat is pretty simple. You talk to an entity. And by talk, I mean you go through a small dialogue tree that ultimately hints at something sinister going on. The collection is the actual game aspect, where you play as an eye? I'm pretty sure it's an eye. You play as an eye and collect raindrops around a small map. At the top, there's a bar that is slowly filling as you progress through each level. There are some oddities, such as being able to go slightly off the screen on the right as well as below. Whether this is intentional or not, I don't know. Occasionally, the entity who you would have met in Creature Chat chimes in, saying how they have something they wish you to do. After the final level, you have a conversation, which unfortunately doesn't go the entity's way, saying we need to play again. We're taken to the menu again. The only choice is to go through the collection again. There are some differences, such as the map being darker and different textures to the wall, but besides that, it is largely unchanged. The rest of the gameplay largely remains unchanged. We have more opportunities to talk to the entity, its desire to be let free now known to us. You can choose to let it free early, or continue playing. Continuing to play seems to almost amuse the entity. Maybe it's just laughing at us for our audacity in thinking we can break the cycle. At one point, text pops up that doesn't quite match everything. Let's note that for later. As we continue on, we are ultimately left with one, well, really no choice. Let it free. The next videos are of a website. You can see it at the top. danjewel34.wixsite.com/theforest/home. Let's go to it. From here, we can see that there's a blog, a letter, an FAQ. We can also enter the forest itself. Though, why is that red font there? And why is it so familiar? I recommend checking this all out for yourself. The forest is another aspect of this game. A sort of choose your own adventure. Keep a close eye on things. There's more than you might expect. The blog goes more into what is going on for the creator of the forest. It's being taken over by something. The letter gives a warning to not play the game. Multiple creatures in it, and a message. It looks oddly familiar. It looks like the one I wrote. Maybe I should decode that. Alright, so substitution ciphers are pretty easy, albeit they're time consuming if you do it by hand. One of the first things you want to look for is something that kind of resembles sentences. You can also look for punctuation. That's another clear sign that the only thing that's changed are the letters are substituted for one another. The concept is pretty simple. If, for our example, we look at the V's, we can decide that each V is an I instead. If we do that, we could start to see other possible words that can form, such as is or it or if for the two-letter words. If we do that, we start to fill in more of the puzzle, and eventually we'll start to see more words appear. From there, those will fill in even more until we end up with the result. I don't know if you can hear me, but I hope you can. You need to stop playing this game. The creature is using you to gain its power. If you're wondering how I know, it happened to me. I'm stuck in this game. It doesn't seem like it wants to do the same to you. It can't be let out though. If it is, it'll be able to trap others. Stop before it's too late. Yeah, I wish I'd decoded that sooner, but that means people were being sucked into the game. Also, the red font is back. The entity, I'm presuming at this point. Clicking on it takes you to a page to download the game, in case you didn't find it before. I did, from that letter. There's a contact page. You can also send chat messages to people, though at the time, I didn't get anything from that. Finally, the FAQ. Seems the entity is here as well, and it's answering a lot of the questions. Going through, it seems fairly normal, although that last bit at the end looks odd. Clicking on it leads me to a database. Sandra, Tina, Nathan, Jake, Mike, and Leanne. The Sandra recordings seem familiar. Going back to the YouTube channel, these are the recordings that were on there of the scientist. Everyone else's entries are new to us. Lots of mentions of tests. Tina, Mike, and Leanne have doubts about the whole project. Something about metamorphized states. We're able to click on Tina's name, which brings us even deeper. Recordings from Tina about harassment outside of work and needing to get this database to someone. I guess she succeeded, since we have it right in front of us. If we go back to the main database page, finally, back at the main database page, there's a link for us that brings us to the Critter Creation Incorporated website. Apparently they make pets. There's also a fire in the facility that occurred recently that postponed their projects. There's a decent amount here, and I glossed over a lot of it, mostly because I think if this interests you, that you should give it a look. There are some connections to other games if you follow the link to download Creature Collection and check out the author's itch.io page. Specifically, the Creatures game and the Persisting Adventure have connections to what I'm only guessing, scratched the surface of. One thing that I haven't talked about that you can see from the footage is that the quality is rough. I was able to move past that, but I think others might have some difficulty, and that's valid. What stood out to me, like I said in the beginning, are the mechanisms in play for telling the story. Many ARG or other transmedia stories tend to be just one thing: videos. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but what makes this type of storytelling so appealing is that it specifically uses different types of medium to tell it. Creature Collection, while it doesn't necessarily do anything new, still has many different avenues it uses with which to tell its story. I also give it a lot of leeway because it seems like this is Danielle from Danielle's Games' first time at attempting to make an ARG. There is a portion of the website that actually talks about the project a little bit and how they were inspired from Nightmind's videos about Welcome Home. I especially enjoy the fact that you can actually download the game for yourself and give it a whirl. That is, if you're okay with losing a bit of yourself in the process. There's some voice acted parts, people who created Let's Plays of the game, hidden secrets, codes to break, and the potential for interaction with the author who is going through all of this. Will there be more to this? I'm not 100% sure. We have the implication of more going on. Tina has successfully gotten the database to the game creator, but what will happen to that creator? What happened to Tina? Are the souls just to remain trapped? What of the people who played the game on their YouTube channel? Whatever the case, I'm looking forward to a continuation of this, or a new project altogether from Danielle of Danielle's Games. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll continue to do a combination of live stream versions of Trailblazin, as well as properly edited videos such as the one you just watched. If you have created something, or you simply have come across something that would be a good fit for Trailblazin, send us the trailhead. That is the intended starting point for the experience, to administrator@varelsbridgesociety.org. You should see that in the video currently, as well as in our description. If you like the video, show us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and consider visiting our website, varelsbridgesociety.org. There, you will find links to our Discord server, as well as our Patreon that helps fund this, as well as other insouciant items and adventures. Though this will happen regardless of your donation. My name is Orra. This was Trailblazin. To all of you, I say, in radiant dictum.